This one has taken me by surprise because we are currently under a transfer embargo in League 2 because we're not compliant with financial fair play. And I honestly hate these rules. And the only reason I actually found out that we're not compliant with FFP was just me checking to see how much of the wage budget we have left. And we are within budgets. We've still got over £5,000 a week to actually play with. But if we just go in, I was a bit confused originally because it's showing a tick that we are compliant, but then it's saying that we can spend up to, we require the club to keep player wage expenditure below 31,000 a week. We're currently spending 33,000 a week. We are actually spending 52,000, but that I then realised it's because under 21 homegrown players are actually excluded from the wage check. Okay, that makes sense. And now the club has been placed under a transfer embargo, which means we can sign on a free transfer up to a maximum wage of 10,000 a week. So it doesn't seem as bad, but at the same time, I'm just like, well, 33,000 a week, but you've given me a wage budget of 57,000. Why not make this clearer as to how this actually works? I mean, I can imagine FFP in real life is also a nightmare to read about, but reading it in-game is even worse. But since you were last with me, form has been still pretty decent. We had a little bit of a blip here. 3 defeats in 5, although one of them was the Virtu Trophy. Again, we don't care about that. But generally, we have continued picking up points in the league, which means we are still sitting top of League 2. Hang on. Oh, I was actually in the right screen. What am I doing? We are still sitting top of League 2, 50 points from 21 games. The fact that we've played almost half a season in 3 months is ridiculous. But we are trying to stay ahead of the chasing pack, who are always inconsistent as each other. Good. It gives us a chance to stay up there. But that does mean, for the start of this episode at least, we're going to park the league just for a moment until the second half, because we've got Crewe coming up in the FA Cup first round, and then we're going to play Rochdale, who are in the playoff places in League 2. So let's get into the first game. And this is the 11 we're going to send out. It's going to be Worcester in goal. In for the injured, again, Williamson, who's out for another 4 weeks. Smith, Shepherd, Doherty and Freeman in the back four. Shepherd being back is an absolute blessing. Williams and Howard in the midfield, because we also have an injury to O'Brien Whitmarsh. He is out for another 6 weeks. So he's been out for a month so far. He fractured his upper arm in the same match as Williamson, who also fractured his upper arm against Rotherham at the end of September. Such a dirty team, Rotherham are. And they're chasing us down in second. Surprise, surprise. Bertie is on the left wing. Palmer attacking midfield. Richards on the right wing. O'Rowe is the man up front. Carl Daly and Goff still on the bench. And Nathaniel Jr. Brown is suspended for this match. Hence why Bertie is playing on the left wing. Saying that, I think Bertie is still training to be a left back, so I might need to have a look at that. But when he has played left wing on occasion, he's actually done well. So here's hoping that continues in today's match, because yet again, we need another cup run. It's starting to become a thing. I know that's the case with most lower league sides and certainly non-league sides as well. Cup runs are all important because cash is indeed king, especially for these clubs. But I forgot to mention it when I showed the finances screen. We are nearly £500,000 in debt again. What we need is another cup run and hopefully a tie, just like we had against West Ham a couple of seasons ago, where we played them at their ground and made, over £1 million in the National League North. Oh, and that's just headed over from, who is that? Bertie. Oh, well done, Bertie. I forget how tall he is. I think he's actually just over 6 feet tall. I'll have to check that, but he's good enough to get on the end of headers, just like Brown is as well, which is really, really handy. But yes, money once again has become another issue at this club, and it brings me back to the point I made in the last episode. At what point do Kings Lynn Town start overreaching? I think we have started that point already, because what a ball that was, by the way, and that just sliced our defence open. That's not exactly what I wanted to see. We're going to go attacking after just 3.5 minutes. But are Kings Lynn Town starting to overreach themselves? I mean, technically we have overspent just to get ourselves to the top of League One. And another promotion would be absolutely fantastic. Wasn't expected, but as we're now in the position that we are in, we kind of have to aim for it. So we kind of have no choice in that fact, because otherwise we're just going to be kicking rocks in League 2 and this club will continue to lose a lot of money. What a tackle that was. But yeah, I think it started with the whole overreaching thing for this club, having to overspend on wages as well, just to actually get players of good quality in. Because our reputation is still very low. We're still... I don't even know what reputation we are. Are we National League reputation, or are we still National League North reputation? In which case, it's going to take a good couple of years at this level to actually get that reputation high enough to actually attract players here on a more regular basis who are actually going to, not cost the earth. But that is always going to be the problem for a club the size of Kings Lynn. So again, that comes back to my point of eventually moving on. Not yet. As it stands, top of League 2, why would I want to move on? Or in the promotion hunt in League 2, why would I want to move on at this moment? As Palmer did once take that ball down, but it is just a half-time highlight. I haven't mentioned this game much at all because barely anything has happened except for that Crewe goal. Disappointed we've had... I want a much better display in the second half. That was just an awful, awful display. Not much has happened. We've had, maybe a half a chance. And I am kind of considering going to maybe a 4-2-4 again, which is a formation I haven't used obviously since last year, but we do have Carl Daly on the bench as well. Maybe give Palmer a bit of a break. I mean, thankfully, we're now just at weekend matches. We've been doing weekend, weekday, which has really tested this squad, as that's got to be a penalty. Don Roberti taken out there in the area, and it is. Why is Freeman on penalty? I need to have a look at my penalties. It's always my right back taking penalties. That's probably why. He can score them. I think that's the first time Freeman's scored a penalty this year. It is Kingston Town 1, Crewe 1. Obviously no replays as well, so we will get a winner today. And I've just realised it's usually O'Brien Whitmarsh who takes the penalties, but obviously he's injured. I've not had a penalty in any game since he's been injured. Coincidence? I think not. But Freeman did well there. He has scored a handful of goals this season, along with a few assists. So, fullbacks still providing not just that width, but also that goal-scoring threat, which we do need from them, as well as from the likes of Richards and Brown normally as well. Bertie's not done too badly today. Uro, though, has just had a poor game. This is probably his first poor game of the season. Daly is going to come on. He's nervous for some reason. Don't know why. Bauman is back from internationals. He's been playing for the Ukraine under-21s, so he's going to go on for Howard. Just bringing a few changes here because we do need something a bit different. Heskey... How is Richards doing? Richards, he's alright for the moment. Williams, not exactly doing great. Hammer. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, John Hammer. You can't see him properly here, but he has officially arrived at the club. The 18-year-old left winger. He has played a few games, but we'll give Don Roberti a bit more time. He hasn't done too badly on that left-hand side. If anything, he's been giving their right back a nice headache. As Crewe have themselves a corner here. It's 72 minutes gone, by the way. Go on, Palmer. Get on the end of that. Up the other end. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Might give him a bit of a break after this highlight. Oh, he just goes past his man. Play the ball in. And that is Don Roberti. I was right to leave him on. That's his first goal of the season. And yes, he's a threat from headers. From crosses. Palmer did very well, beating two guys on the way to getting the ball in. And Bertie just stands there. Nobody's bothering to go up against him. He's clearly just that strong. And he powers a header in. 2-1 to Kings Lynn Town. Exactly what we need to get to the second rounds. I would say, if you know what, I'm going to leave it until after this match. I'm not going to say anything. Every time I say something, like trying to give like a sort of victory speech, etc., etc., something always happens. Usually a highlight. Freeman's going to go off. Smith. Can Smith play on the right? I mean, he can. So Smith's going to go to the right-hand side. Freeman's going to go off for Lavinier. And Smith's just going to have to gut it out. Banks, I've forgotten to put on again. Richards is going to go off for Heskey, who's barely played this season, but he is on a fringe playing agreement, so I'm all right with it. I've just realised we're still on attacking. Oh my god. It's all right. Heskey's got the ball. And the keeper's out. The keeper's out. Just shoot. Just shoot. He done it. That's the first time I've seen that goal in this game. It's in FM. Oh my goodness. I did not realise their goalkeeper was up. Ball was cleared. Heskey's the quickest to react. And their keeper is sprinting back. At this point, I was just begging Heskey to just shoot. I thought he'd lost his chance, but nope. He sees the opening. It's like he just looked up and realised, oh, I can actually shoot into an open goal. Oh my goodness, that was definitely needed. That should seal us getting into the second round of the FA Cup. We're just going to waste a bunch of time. And I think that is it. Yeah, that's it. Oh my goodness. Their keeper gambled and it did not pay off. Absolutely fine, boys. Well done. And I think this is just an end of match highlight. But so I can say now, the second round it's only going to be like League One teams downwards as well. As well done, Worcester. He just plucks it out of the air. So what I'll probably do, we'll show the Rochdale match coming up anyway, unless we get like a really big League One team. But I think the aim is really just to get through the second round if possible and get to the third round and get a really big payday. That is the aim. So I shall see you for the Rochdale match coming up. As just showing here, Palmer signs a new 3-year deal. We have given him a new contract, which also ups his minimum fee release clause. Lovely. Especially the finance picker we're in. We're probably going to need it. Well, we have a slight goalkeeping crisis now in the first team. Worcester is officially our only fit goalkeeper because Hewitson has now picked up an injury in training. He's out for another 2 weeks, as is Williamson. They'll both be back around the same time. In fact, why is Phillips down here? He should be on the bench at least. You can go there. In fact, we're going to start him today. We'll give Doherty a bit of a break in defence. But yes, we got a bit of a goalkeeping crisis, which means our backup goalkeeper will be Mark Duffy from our youth squad. And he's not even in the first team squad at the moment. So hopefully we won't have to resort to that. So the only real change for this match is going to be Phillips, who's going to come in defence. He has had a good season so far at centre-back. The loanee from Stoke City. He's only got 1 assist, but if he's known more for his defensive work, I'm very happy. His jumping reach isn't that high. That's probably why he's not involved much going forward. And of course, Nathaniel Junior Brown is back on the left wing. He comes in for Bertie, who does drop to the bench, but that's better than what he's been doing recently because he's mostly just been a reserve player, as well as being out on international duty. I think St. Kitts and Nevis, I think he's a international for them, isn't he? But luckily that's been giving him a little bit of match fitness, which has clearly come in handy for the last match in the FA Cup. So we are away in the league against Rochdale, who are chasing the playoffs themselves at the moment. In fact, if we look at the league table, yeah, they're currently sitting in 6th in a almighty scrap down there, which we would like to stay clear of. Of course, at the moment, we are currently 4 points clear at the top of the league, as I don't know what Freeman's trying to do there. He's literally back and forth, back and forth. No wonder he's always tired, bless him. Needs to up his stamina a little bit more. Great play here. Inivo is through, and Inivo has scored. He's put his poor game in the last match against Crewe behind him, and he's back to scoring in the way that only he loves to do. Actually, that's not fair. Carl Daly scores in exactly the same way as well, getting him behind. But that is Inivo's 20th goal in 21 league games, which is a phenomenal record. He is very, very good at this level. In fact, dare I say, he is a League One player. I don't even need to dare saying that. He is a League One player. I've already had a look at his report cards. I can't remember what it's called. But he is a League One player, along with the likes of Joe Palmer, O'Brien Whitmarsh, and Shepherd as well. Shepherd's the OG League One player in this squad, but he's now been joined by other players of similar calibre, which is always a good thing. And it comes back to the point that I made in the last match, we've spent our way to the top of League 2, which is probably why we are not complying with FFP. By the way, we are in a new month now, we're in November, and we are still not complying with FFP. There's nothing I can really do about it right now. I'm just going to have to wait until January, where hopefully we can ship out a few players. I mean, we've got some players out on loan who are we're still paying their wages. The only reason I've shipped them out on loan is so that they don't get too unhappy with not getting playing time. I'm looking at Middlemass for that one. He's on loan and he's in Scotland, and we're paying his £2,000 a week wages, which is stupid. By the way, again, if you're using this video as a sort of radio show, we are into the second half now. Rochdale 0, Kings Lynn Town 1. Apart from that goal, nothing else happened in the first half, which is fine. Brown on the left-hand side, he does get into the penalty area, but the ball runs loose. And we have picked up at left-back into Smith. Williams, back into Howard, back to Williams. Literally turning into a play-by-play commentator here at this point. Phillips with the long ball forward. It's just cut out of the defence. Howard into Williams. And there is Palmer. And Palmer squeezes one in, but it is off the goalkeeper. It's been disallowed. I was going to say it was going to be an own goal, because I think the ball came back off the post and then ricocheted in off the keeper, but Palmer was just offside. Very tight play by our front line. Sitting on the edge of the shoulder of the last defender, but it clearly didn't work that time. We were caught offside. 69 minutes gone. I'm starting to think about substitutes, but we do have a highlight going here. Rochdale playing the ball out from the back. In a little bit of an update about my burgeoning legacy. As oh my god, what the heck? That ball, long ball forward, and Rochdale, whoever that was, Burrows up front for Rochdale, takes it first time, and it is 1-1. That's not what I wanted to see. We are going to go attacking. I think we're good enough to win this match. He looks offside there, ref. There's no VAR at this level, naturally. In fact, we can make some substitutions. Brown is very tired. Bertie's going to come on. Let's see a bit more of him. Richards is not having a good game. Heskey can come on. Actually, do you know what? Evo can go on the left, actually, and Carl Daly can go up front. Any chance to put Carl Daly on is always going to be welcome. And the midfield, do we put Goff on in this situation? Actually, they're not exactly doing bad. Although I do still have question marks over Howard. I'm just not convinced by him. I mean, he does do okay, and he does contribute to goals every now and then, but I don't know. He is one of our players, by the way. He's not a loanee, as the ball is swung in, and it's just half cleared, but we have just got the ball back. Howard into Palmer. Oh, Palmer. Oh, that was probably a very good chance to see the ball into the back of the net there, but Palmer just blazes it over. You know what? Goff is going to come on. I don't know why Daly and Evo are in completely different positions there. So we'll just move that about. Goff has just come on. I think this is the first time I'm playing him. Actually, no, I played him a few times in the previous month, but just as a substitute. He's not started a game in the league at all this season. Seems a bit harsh on him, but he just hasn't broken into the squad the way that Carl Daly has. And even Daly is just a backup at the moment. But then Evo is a star player, and he's been banging in goals for fun, so what are you going to do? Rochdale do have the ball here. It is 88 minutes gone, and they are... This guy is lethal. Pavos is just absolutely lethal. It is 2-1 to Rochdale. And that's not exactly what I was hoping for. We do have some other substitutes, so what we are going to do, go 2 up top. Palmer's going to go off for Bertie. Probably shouldn't have taken Brown off, but then he's not exactly having a good game either. As Rochdale have the ball again. They've just been very clinical. There's nothing more to say. They've just been very clinical, and we've just been all over the place. Bear in mind, Rochdale have come up with us from the National League last season, so this is a battle of the promoted sides. As Rochdale, yeah, they've just been clinical. There's nothing else I can say. They've just ripped us apart. It is annoying to watch, but what much more can I do here? Edwards getting the ball, getting the goal. Would Williamson have done better there? Probably. Oh my God, Rochdale are coming in. Boys, calm it down. A 4-1 defeat is not what I had in the bingo card here. Bertie, thank goodness. Stop the rot there. Maybe the ball's been in the air too much in this game. Ball has been swung in, and that's just summed it up for us, really. We've had chances, but we just haven't put it in the back of the net. We've actually out-XG'd them. But they've been clinical. Not much I can say. You've been terrible. We weren't good enough. Yeah, Noah Freeman had a very poor game. So yeah, that's a shame. That's the first defeat we've seen on camera since last season, I believe. Which is a shame. We're just 1 point at the top of the league now. Overall, still a good season, but hey-ho. We go again for the next match. So I think when we're going to come back, we'll be in January. Because I'm going to need to get a few wages off the wage bill. If we just have a look at the wage bill. This is probably still not as high as like the rest of the league. Overspending our way to the top of League 2, yeah? January. Transfers. Mostly out, probably. I doubt we're going to be able to get anyone in. But if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit the like button down below and smash the big red subscribe button so you don't miss the upcoming episodes. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for your support on the series so far. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode.